If you're trying to get a client to switch over to your product from a competitor's, this one is for you. One of the challenges we face is that we go to a client and they're buying or using someone else's product or service. So how do we get them to switch over? Good question, right? Now, I've come up with a formula for you, a kind of a structure, a framework for you to address to get clients to switch over. I call it the meta framework. META, let me walk through it very quickly. First of all, you have to address the money issue. That's the M. In other words, I'm not talking about the price of the product or service. What I'm talking about is what is that going to cost them to switch over to you? Because there's always a cost, an inherent cost in any switching effort. You need to define that for the customer so they can understand the total cost of ownership. In other words, what's it really going to cost for us to move over? You have to help them define that. 2, let's talk effort. Because the amount of work to switch from one product to another requires some effort by somebody or a group of people. Well, what is that going to require? They need to know that. Number 3, the T, and that is time. How much time is this going to take? Because you might be able to impact their operations, maybe impact their delivery times, maybe even impact their customer service. So again, they need to know, well, how much time is this going to take? A, last but not least, adoption and acceptance. If we buy your product, Victor, will they use it? Will they adopt it? Will they accept it? Or will they just reject the actual tool and not use it? So we have to convince our clients, potential clients, that, hey, if they buy the product, they're going to use it because this is what we've seen. So that's the framework, the meta framework. In your presentation, you have to talk about money. What's it going to cost to switch over? They need to understand that. 2, the effort required. How much work is this going to require? And minimize that perceived effort. 3, give them a timeline. Let them know that you're going to hit those timelines and you're not going to impact their business. Last, acceptance. Talk about how users use your product and how much they love using it. In fact, how they're using it more because it's so much easier to use. I should add a 5th factor. There's an emotional risk factor. The person making the decision is putting their name on the line, so you have to make sure that you make them feel comfortable. That's why you talk about money, effort, time, and adoption, because you want to make that person, your champion, feel comfortable in pushing your product when they make the switch. This is Victor Antonio with another Sales Influence Moment, always reminding you, selling ain't hard when you get them to switch over, and you know how. Take care.